Have you ever had one of those years where everything goes wrong? Now imagine that, but for 15 years straight. That's what life in late Eastern Han China was like. Starting around 170 CE, the empire got hit the ultimate disaster combo pack. Summer droughts, autumn floods, winter blizzards, and as if that wasn't enough, earthquakes. Crops failed, famine spread, people literally started eating each other. It must have seemed like the end of the world. In ancient China, there was a belief called the mandate of heaven. The emperor was given the right to rule by the gods, and the prosperity of China was based on the continued blessing of heaven. Simply, the more noble the emperor is, the more good China is. Well, you can imagine what people felt about the emperor after droughts, floods, blizzards, earthquakes, and famine. People were starting to think that maybe the emperor isn't really supposed to be on the throne. Emperor Ling was the unlucky man who was sitting on the throne. And even he started to think, is that me? What have I done to upset heaven so much? So he tried to fix things the way any good marketer would, rebranding. In just 15 years, he changed the reign titles 3 times, all happy, lucky-sounding names, hoping that a more positive title would honor the gods properly. Spoiler, it didn't help. Meanwhile, the empire's enemies were not taking a break. The Xiongnu up north finally calmed down, only for the Xian tribes to start raiding. And the once mighty Han army, with all the disasters and famine, China couldn't stand up to the attacks and suffered man-brutal raids. In the southwest, local tribes also joined the fun, and rebellions popped up like mushrooms. The government was broke, so Emperor Ling had a brilliant idea: sell government jobs to the highest bidder. You want to be a general? That will be 3 golds and a bag of silver, please. Of course, that was a great short-term fix to get money in. But when anyone can buy a title, you are not going to be getting the cream on the crop. Here's a kicker. Technically, China wasn't poor. Sure, the government was. China was rich. The money was just locked away in the vaults of rich aristocratic families. The same guys who gave rousing speeches about serving the nation until you asked them to pay taxes. Then suddenly, who? Me? I'm broke! This all went back to a problem the Han Dynasty never solved: land hoarding by the elites. The Western Han tried to fix it, then botched the job under Wang Mang's short-lived reforms. When Liu Xiu, Emperor Guangwu, rebuilt the dynasty, he just ignored the problem. For 200 years, emperors stayed young, eunuchs and empresses' families ran the show, and nobody bothered to actually help the peasants. Then came the cherry on top: climate change. China was experiencing longer, harsher winters, and so poorer harvests, and more crop failures. With no food and no hope, and an emperor who seemed to be hated by the gods, the peasants finally snapped. Enter the Yellow Turban Rebellion in 184 CE. They didn't topple the Han, but from that point on, the empire was basically a stage for warlords to show off. By the time Cao Pi, son of the famous Cao Cao, forced the Emperor Xian to hand over the throne in 220 CE, everyone knew the dynasty was long dead. They were just ripping off the band-aid. And those powerful aristocratic clans, they were not going anywhere. They stayed in charge through the 3 kingdoms, the Jin dynasty, even the chaotic northern and southern dynasties. Only when Emperor Gaozong and the one and only Empress Wu Zetian of the Tang came along centuries later did the mega families finally start losing their grip. So yeah, the late Eastern Han was basically one giant group project where everyone wanted credit. Nobody did the work, and the teacher, aka Heaven, kept throwing natural disasters as feedback.